This video will show you how to solve binomial probability distribution problems as well as problems asking you to solve using the Poisson distribution. So first we're going to start with our binomial, and we're going to read our problem here, and we're looking for the percent, the 63% here, and we want to know how many people are being selected, and we see 10. With binomial, we always start with 0, because you can have a probability when x equals 0, and we're going to go all the way up until, let's see, 10. Okay. There's multiple ways to do this. I'm just going to show you one way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the probabilities at each of these individual values. And to do that, we're going to go to Calc, Probability Distributions, and then you're going to choose Binomial. And we want individual probabilities, not cumulative. When you're using that cumulative feature, you need to figure out what they mean by cumulative. So we're just going to stick with the individual probabilities. And we have 10 trials, and then the probability is 0.63. And the input column is going to be C1, and you can either type C1 or double click on the C1, and we're going to put it right next to those values, so we're going to put it in C2. So what we have is the probability of 0 being considered professional baseball fans would be 0.000048, so very small probability. Again, all 10 of them being fans is a pretty small probability too, but it looks like here in the middle we're about of exactly 6, the probability is 0.246 or 24.6%. So the first question is asking for exactly 8. So we would come down here and look for 8, and then you want to be careful to round accordingly. So we're going to use 0.153, and then we're going to check our answer, and we're good. Now this one says at least 8. So at least 8 means you want 8, you want 9, and you want 10. You could just add these up in your calculator, but I think the best way to do this is just to highlight the values you want. So I'm holding down my left mouse button and selecting them, and then I'm going to do it's calc. Let's see. Actually, no, I want to do edit and then copy. And then I'm going to click over here because I'm going to copy them over here. You could copy them anywhere you wanted. And then I'm going to do paste cells. And then I'm going to go to calc, and then Cal Statistics allows me to sum these values, so I don't have to go ahead and put them in a calculator. So I'm just going to hit OK. Whoops, I'm sorry. You're going to have to put in the input variable, which is column C3. And then I'm going to hit OK, and then it'll sum it right here. So for greater than or equal to 8, which is these 3 here again, I've just added those up, and then you need to round, and then we have our answer. So we're going to go ahead and check it, and then it's okay. Now for less than 8 tells me I want these guys here. So I don't want to include the 8, but I want to go all the way down to the 0. So I'm going to do edit, copy. So again, we just wanted these values, so you could either do that same process, edit, copy cells, and put them over here, and then sum up the column. So that would be calc column statistics, and then we're inputting C4 this time. And we get our value, and this one is 0.779, or you might notice that these all sum up to 1. So if we wanted to look at that, so calc column statistics, and we tried summing up C1, we would see that they sum to, oh, not C1, I'm sorry. We want C2. That didn't make sense to sum C1. So we're going to sum C2, and you'll see that they'll add to 1. So instead of recalculating, what we could have done is taken, and we'll clear the screen, we could have just taken 1 minus 0.221, 1 and hit enter. And we get 0.779, which also matches this. So there's two ways to get this third one. You can think about the values you want and add them up, or you can think about the values you don't want, which is these guys, and subtract them from 1. So we'll check our answer, and there's the answer to that one. So let's try one more. So I'm just going to open up a new worksheet, and I'm going to go to this one. Now this one's worded a little bit differently, but it still has your 10s, your sample of 10, and a probability of 0.28. So I'm going to put in all these values again, and then I'm going to do my probabilities. So I'm going to do calc and probability distributions, binomial, and then again individual probabilities, 10 trials, but this time use 0.28. And then we're going to hit, the input's still C1, optional storage is C2. So it puts all our probabilities there. So again, exactly 2 just means you want the number that's there rounded to 3 decimal places. So 0.255. We can check answers. And then more than 2. So more than means do not include 2. So we want all these guys here. And we're going to do edit, copy cells. And then we're going to do edit, paste cells. So I went over here, and I like to line them up so I can see the same values. And we want all these again. So we're going to do calc, column statistics, and we're going to sum C3 this time. So you can either double click on C3 or just enter the 3 and hit OK. So for this one, it's 0.562. And then between 2 and 5 inclusive, so it means you want the value for 2, and you want 3, 4, and you want to include 5. So again, I'm going to do that edit, copy cells. I'm going to put them in C4, edit, paste cells. So I want 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again I can sum my data. So calc, column statistics. We're going to sum C4 this time, and then hit OK. So now we're getting 0.783, and then check our answer. Okay, so this one again, inclusive, you can see that it puts up the inequality signs that correspond to this, and then this is saying because it's an equal to include those values, where this one doesn't. So it means anything greater than 2, but don't include it. Now my last example is the Poisson distribution. So for this one, we can use the same sheet, or you can open a new one, but the Poisson distribution is going to ask you for the mean, but you're going to have to call up the number 1. So I'm just going to put 1 over here, or because we just want one single value. And we're going to go calc, probability distributions, and you're going to choose Poisson. And then we want, again, just that individual probability. We don't want to sum them. So we're going to choose probability. And then the mean is given in the problem. Mu equals 6. And then again, we need our input column, and it's over here, C6. We could have also just used values, make a column like we did over here. But again, we just want the individual values, so maybe it's just easier to take the 1. And then we're going to hit OK. And then, let's see, really the mean is 6. So let's see, 0.015. Oh, it wants to 4 decimal places, so 0.0149. And that is our answer there. So 0.0149 rounded to 4 decimal places. So of course, if you have any more questions or would like to see another video, please let me know.